Hey, this is Joe Crump. This is the last video in this particular series, and I wanted to thank you for sending all those great questions in. I hope I gave you some insight over these past few weeks about how to do these deals, where to put your money, how to spend your money, what kind of deals to do, kind of structures to use, what kind of business structures to build, how much money you're going to need to make this happen, how to keep your money safe, how to keep your credit safe, all those things. One of the things I wanted to do with this video is invite you to join my mentor program and come to my two-day buying event that's going to be coming up here soon. The mentor program allows me to work personally with you, and we do it in a group, so you're with other people that are also learning this process, but you're able to ask me questions personally. My mentor students are the only people that I answer questions to other than on videos like this, and they can send me emails, and within 24 business hours I'll send them back a response, and I'll let them know what they need to know in order to move forward. I'll also keep them focused on the things that are most important. Out of all the mentor students that come into my program, 30% of them will make money. I'm told that in programs like this, the average is 5% of the people that come into these programs make money. So I guess I'm 600% better than average. But I can also tell you that 100% of the people who do the work, who follow through with the process the way that I teach it, will make money. 100%. So if you do the work, if you follow through, you're going to make money. It's like going to college for a semester. It's a 6-month program, so it's like going to college, and it's about as expensive, not quite as expensive. I got 2 kids in college right now, so it's not as expensive as putting kids in college, but it's like going to college for a semester. And if you do the work, instead of getting an A on your class, you make money. If you don't do the work in college, you get an F. But instead of getting an F in my class, you just don't make any money. So my goal is for everybody that comes into this program is that you do the work, and I have a conversation with everybody before they start and tell them, you got to promise me that you're going to put in 8 to 10 hours a week making phone calls, talking to sellers, and learning this process. 8 to 10 hours a week on the phone is a lot of time, and it's not fun, and it's frustrating, and it takes a while to learn it. But if you do this for 3 or 4 months in a row, then that 8 to 10 hours a week is going to turn into 1 hour a week, because you're going to know how to convert those deals. And instead of talking to 100 people before you get your first deal, you're going to talk to 3, 4, 5 people, and you're going to have a deal put together. And your job is going to be so much easier. And you're going to find that these deals will end up taking, 8 or 10 hours of your time at any particular time. And that's if you don't have it automated and outsourced. If you do that, then it can end up taking an hour of your time, and somebody else can do all the other work for you. And I'm going to show you in my mentor program how to automate, how to outsource, and how to eliminate all the junk you don't do. So automate the stuff that you can. Everything that you can't automate, you outsource to somebody else. And everything that you can't automate and outsource, you just throw away. You don't need to do that stuff. And you'll end up being the 1%. You'll be doing the 1% of the work, and you'll be making the majority of the money. So that's the goal, and that's the business that you want to create. And you're going to learn how to do that to replace your income first. And then I'm going to show you how to build your portfolio as well, because you want to create a portfolio that's going to make you rich. The portfolio is what makes you wealthy. The income is what gives you a good life, and making that income consistent makes it a stress-free life. And making it consistent while you're doing very little work makes it fun. They say that there are 3 things that make people happy. It's pleasure, purpose, and pride. And these things will come when you get good, and when you build a business, when you get good at this work and you build a business from it. You get pleasure because it's a lot of fun, and you have pleasure in your life because you get good things brought to your life because you have the income to do it. You can travel, you have freedom, all those things. You have purpose because the things that we're doing here actually solve people's problems in their life, and it gives you purpose, it gives you meaning, because you're making people's lives better. And on top of that, it gives you the ability to have the time to be able to give public service in other ways in your life as well. And then it gives you pride. It gives you pride in yourself. It gives your family pride in you. And it makes you feel like you have a place in the world that's of value, that's important. You know, I know that when I went through this process, when I lost my business, my pride was gone, completely evaporated. And I had to fight my way back and find a way to make this work, to bring my life back together. I had to learn how to do that. And I had to learn, and the way that I did it was I started looking at other people. How could I help other people? Instead of worried about myself, because that's what happens when everything falls apart for you. When your life is in a tough situation, all you can think about is yourself, you know, woe is me, you know, the whole thing. And all you can think about is yourself. But if you can take your eyes off yourself just for a minute, and look at somebody else and say, okay, I can see this person is in a tough situation here. They're trying to sell their house. They don't know what they're doing. They need my help. I can solve the problem because Joe taught me how to do it. So I can solve their problem. I can tell them how to do it. And if they trust me and let me walk them through it, they'll be happy. And by doing that, by putting your eyes on somebody else and taking it off yourself, it changes your whole idea of the world. It changes your whole perspective. And it makes life worth living. Anyway, I hope that helps. I'd invite you to come join my mentor program. It's expensive, and you know, go to my website, zerodowninvesting.com, ZERODOWN, investing.com, and you can read all about it. You can read about the payment plan and the discounts that I give, it's still cheaper than college for a semester, but it is expensive. I invite you to come. If you have questions about it, give me a call. As long as you've got the resources to do it, I'd be happy to talk to you about it and answer any questions you might have and make sure that you're right for the program. You know, I always like to make sure we're a good match for the program. You might also want to look at some of the case study videos and see what some of my other students have done. If you go to the case study section, there's a link on my site, the Zero Down Investing site, that'll take you to those case studies. You can also go to my blog and just click on anybody that doesn't look like me videos. There's a bunch of videos like there as well that will tell you how they got started, what their struggles were, what they had to accomplish, how much money they made, the things that they did to make that money. I really wanted them to, when we did those interviews, I really wanted them to be honest with you, not just tell you what a great guy I am, but how this impacted them, what they had to do to make the money, how much work they had to put in to make it happen. And some of them have some pretty amazing stories. Some of them just got lucky. Others just put in the hard work and made it happen. And some of them have built incredible 7-figure businesses. So take a look at those as well. There's over 100 of those on the website, and you know, people that have done it over the last few years. Anyway, I hope that helps. Good luck to you, and I hope to see you in the future. Thanks.